On our 4th wedding anniversary, my husband and I went to the temple to pray. Kneeling on the prayer cushion in front of temple, he swore solemnly that his heart would never change. What I didn't expect was that he would cheat not long after. What shocked me even more was that the oath kicked in every time he slept with her. His health bar dropped a little, and I, the betrayed wife, hit the jackpot. Today is the 7th anniversary of the day Chase and I fell in love and the 4th anniversary of our wedding. Not long ago he closed a monster deal and landed the VP promotion. A double blessing. Jordan, we chose this red-letter day to climb the mountain and give thanks. To show devotion we skipped the scenic gondola and hiked every step. Along the trail we retraced our life together, from the cramped downtown studio we once shared to the Riverview penthouse now overlooking the water. Only we knew the sweat it took. Babe, without you none of this exists, Chase said, arm around my shoulders, voice thick. I felt I'd earned every word. The midnight sober-up soups, the dawn porridge, the socks paired and shirts steamed, every detail curated by me. To save money I downgraded my skincare to baby lotion and bought bubble tea only on clearance. I'd once scrolled past a street-style clip that asked random women the price of their outfits. Girls flaunted 20-grand bags and $1,000 coats, living in a universe light years from my $40 tee. That night Chase apologized, ashamed, promising to give me that life one day. These days his salary brushes 7 figures and his net worth has crossed the 8-digit line, yet designer bags and luxury splurges still aren't on my radar. I think about finishing the new estate, steady growth in our marital assets, the college fund for the kids we don't yet have. His arm tightened. You're my anchor, Aurora. Having you is my luck. A sudden mountain rain cut the moment short. We sprinted to the summit temple, both panting, soaked. Every bench in the main hall was taken. The front steps were filthy and wet. Jordan discovered a deserted side chapel. Only one stool remained. Chase wiped it with his jacket and sat me down. You're not supposed to plop onto Temple's prayer cushion, so he knelt Japanese style for a good 10 minutes. Temple basically tweeted, I've seen things. Just tell me what you want, stop kneeling, you're freaking me out. Chase noticed how ridiculous he looked. Babe, let's make our wish here. I nodded. Since it was our anniversary, I teased. They say the first thing a man does after winning is ditch the girl who held him down. Now that you're climbing, planning to trade me in? He panicked and straightened like a cadet. Online there's a poetic curse. May you die alone and live forever. He borrowed it. If I ever stray, let me die alone and live forever. I burst out laughing. Are you cursing yourself or praying? Grinning, he asked, how should I say it then? Me cheat on me and your health bar crashes while I hit the jackpot. Everybody's daydreamed of winning the lottery, right? Amused, he still knelt upright on the prayer cushion and repeated my words, eyes solemn, devotion dripping. The temple bell cut through the rain, echoing across the valley. Standing, he flicked my nose. Little money grubber. So how long does a husband's oath last? In my case, 2 months and 18 days. He said he had a 3-day out-of-town conference. At 8 p.m. he called, slurring. The client team kept toasting me, babe. Head's killing me, gonna crash at the hotel. I fussed, told him to sleep tight. Bored, I dragged my college roommate Whitney into a mobile game marathon. After a dozen rounds the clock read 11:25. Out of habit I checked his fitness tracker steps. It felt like a hammer to the skull. Post-drink sleep had logged him 8,137 steps. The meme flashed through my head, 3 parts booze, 7 parts act. I laughed like a maniac, then cooled down. Don't convict yet, maybe he'd paced the suite for legitimate reasons. Jordan. I opened Instagram. You can tell I'm the type who notices patterns. Besides, women own a 6th sense. Chase first mentioned the name Tiffany Jade a month earlier. New intern. Actually our junior at school, couple years below us, senior now. After all this time I can read micro-expressions he doesn't even know he's making. My verdict, instant crush. By the 3rd offhand mention I'd used alumni ties to locate and follow her Instagram, then sniffed out her Finsta. Now I steeled myself and opened her profile. Latest post was pinned. Fireworks show, cloud tasting menu, and you. 2 photos. First, fireworks blooming above a girl in a mini headband, romantic night sky, her back to camera. Photos speak the shooter's love language, The tenderness screamed intimacy. Second frame gave the shooter away. Steak, burgundy, two intertwined hands. Most people would see nothing. I saw what mattered. The guy's wrist, though cropped, showed two blessed bead bracelet beads I'd recognize anywhere, the one from our mountain pilgrimage. Chase never takes it off. Restaurant. Same one we'd visited the day we closed on the penthouse. Cloud on the 62nd floor, Michelin 3-star, 480 per head. A treat I'd saved years for. TJ earned it at 20 with a few syrupy KCS. So much for out of town, they'd spent 3 days at a Disney resort hotel. Rage, heartbreak, self-loathing crashed over me. Everyone mocks the digging martyr. I'd just met the mirror. My heart spasmed so hard the phone shook. About to call and test his acting skills, I got a bank alert text. Holy hell, so many zeros. Exactly 5 million. Scam, obviously, until I opened the app and saw the balance. The vow in the side chapel hit me. Words cast spells. Chase had jinxed himself. And the jackpot auto-cashed. No lottery ticket required. A 7-figure money bomb vaporizes anger. 80% of my bitterness evaporated on the spot. I remembered the fine print. Every cheat equals penalty for him, reward for me. I tossed the phone onto the bed. Can't tip him off, why jeopardize my new revenue stream? As for Chase, years together, and yeah, it hurts. But the second he cheated we were done. One strike, lifetime expulsion. This bacteria-ridden cucumber can rot. I'm nauseous. While I penny-pinched and future-proofed our life, he whisked Little Miss in turn to fireworks and $1,000 dinners. People who waste true love should swallow 1,000 needles. Mirror check. Bare face, shapeless hair, 1-year-old cotton PJs. I raged at my reflection. I endure. I sacrifice. I'm a glorious pig. Never again. Voice note to Whitney. Tomorrow we shop, and Sam's paying. She video called instantly. Sheet mask slipping from the shock. Aurora, what happened? Personality transplant. Me nothing. Realized I don't have to suffer. Whitney beamed finally. I was scared you'd forage forever. Next noon we lunched at Cloud Wagyu, foie gras, black truffle jus. One bite and the beef flooded my senses with rich, fatty joy. Money really is an iron that smooths every wrinkle. But Whitney looked nervous. Aurora, you okay? What's not to be okay? I chew like I'm slaughtering the steak. I waved my fork. Eat up. Next stop, new wardrobe and facials. Whitney gave a proud mom smile. Good. Remember, money you refuse to spend becomes the budget for the next girl. I bobbed my head like a dashboard doll. Well said, sis. All on me. I used to be blind and stupid. Whitney had cracked another joke, delivered in deadpan anyway. Now that Chase is a high roller, treat yourself. On paper that sounded fine. An affair was now worth $5 million a pop. Hard to find a pricier gigolo. Too bad the moron couldn't even play rent boy properly. While shopping together we literally ran into him and his little campus junior. I'd picked Riverside precisely to dodge the neighborhoods we each haunted. I guess Chase had done the math the same way, and we mathematically collided. Bless his helpful heart. Whitney yanked my sleeve. Aurora, isn't that your Chase? And who's that vixen glued to him? Hell, they're obviously hooking up. No overreacting on Whitney's part. Any onlooker could smell the chemistry from 20 yards. Inside the jewelry boutique, Tiffany Jade preened in the mirror, trying on the pearl studs while Chase hovered, a gallant stylist. Casey, cute or what? Very pretty. The clerk struck on cue. Sir, your girlfriend has amazing skin. Pearls look perfect with it. Tiffany Jade simpered like a kitten. Whitney shook off my restraining hand. Aurora, stay cool, I'm going to scalp the dogs. She rolled her sleeves, spoiling for a fight. But I was the one panicking. For God's sake don't break up their date, today's 5 million hasn't wired in yet. I couldn't stop volcanic Whitney. Movement caught their eyes. Chase's spine turned to rebar. He pivoted half a step away from Tiffany Jade. Panic flickered. B-baby, what are you doing here? Whitney's kick flew straight at his shin. You lying maggot, you on a business trip, remember? The crack echoed off marble. Had to hurt. Chase went paper white, eyes bloodshot. The red-eye male lead trope, fashionably late, supplied tonight by force. Sweetheart, let me explain, Tiffany Jade finally piped up. Senior, your friend just attacks without checking facts. The deal collapsed, so Casey flew back. We're only buying your Valentine's gift. We're absolutely innocent. Her eyes watered, mistreated lamb act. See the playbook? Even the underage homewrecker outclassed him. First time I'd seen her in person. The clerk hadn't lied, her porcelain skin could hide a dozen sins. Standard issue campus white lily. Add a quivering lip and every guy within range salutes. She'd reminded him the cavalry was routed. Chase snapped to attention, shielding her. Aurora, control your friend. She just causes trouble. Whitney, you've always badmouthed me. Today you graduate to assault, apologize. Now. Whitney's finger trembled under his nose before she could spit fire. I tugged her arm. Let me. She stepped back, expecting carnage. Chase puffed his chest, righteous. Behind him Tiffany Jade waited too. Ignore the incense, that tea stank 10 blocks upwind. She scoped me, decided she'd won on looks, smug sparkle in place. Cute. Back in college I'd been department it girl, a queue of suitors. How did the mistress sashay up in my face now? Thank hubby dearest, of course. Freshly graduated, our budget had been coffee grounds and prayer. I'd eaten mantou with fermented bean paste so he could afford train fares. Now look, little miss eats Michelin stars while I'm supposed to feel sorry. Feel sorry for men, suffer all your life. Tattoo that on a lung. Love brain should qualify for state disability pay. I inhaled. Chase croaked, sweetheart, trust me. I stepped forward, he flinched, anticipating a slap. Instead I straightened his tie sweetly. You got back early, why didn't you text? He exhaled. Wanted to surprise you, but plot twist, huh? I tightened, he wheezed, still smiling. We both smiled. Clown to your left, clown to your right. 2 months ago you swore on your life. Of course I believe you. Blank stares from Whitney, Tiffany Jade, the gathering peanut gallery. What a pushover, those two were basically fused and she buys it. Live specimen of love brain, zoo grade. The sales clerk had seen wives ambush mistresses before but never a spouse who swallowed excuse soup this willingly. Chase's grin cracked. Baby, you know me. I freed my hand while smoothing his collar. 7 years together. Course I do. Relax, you're sweating buckets. Behind every great man stands a greater executioner. Once he scores, off comes her head. Message received. My roleplay painted me tofu brain in Tiffany Jade's mind. I envy you, sis. No one courts me. Don't worry, TJ milk, bread, and Prince Charming all on pre-order. She tittered. Soon. Promise. Water eyes, full provocation. Promise. Pat the pillow while sharpening the spikes, right? Lovers announced they must return to office, so we split into 2 camps. Whitney stared like I'd sold her team. He practically tongue wrestled her in your face. I flashed the bank app, 7 digits. Her vocabulary imploded. Well dang, maybe wait to dump his butt. She assumed it was joint savings, a quick divorce would leave me short. Run, don't walk, max every card in sight. Let that peacock strut. We'll buy ourselves the feathers. By the time I wobbled home with shopping bags, Chase occupied the sofa. He relieved me of parcels, then lifted a velvet box from the coffee table. Aurora, this was meant to be the grand reveal, peak. Inside, the very same pearl studs. I chirped love them while translating future history, destined first for her ears. Wear them, baby, he insisted. Wear them my butt. One snap and they'll be listed on eBay. Then a crimson speck on his neck hijacked my retina. Box discarded, I yanked his collar. Explain. He flipped his phone's camera. Even rattled, the lie rolled off his tongue. Mosquitoes at the motel last night. Skies won't stay grey, but cheetahs' tongues drizzle 24/7. Fresh strawberry hickey rebranded as bug bite, sure. Last night equals their consummation, today's accidental meet cut their trip short. This stamp equals her signature frustration. Perfect, I'm also frustrated. Time to grow the field. I tilted my head. Doesn't look like a bite. I scratched, he claimed. Recreate it for me. He pinched and scraped till his neck resembled a cupping session. Believe me now, I fanned the air. Body odor funk. Go shower. It was Tiffany Jade's perfume whispering. He sniffed, obeying. Later, towel draped, he leered, all clean, so how about bath? Please don't touch me. I kept a stern face. Glad you behaved, but mind proximity to TJ. Even the clerk mistook her for your girl. Penalty, guest room tonight. Between guilt and overnight exhaustion, he complied. I lounged sipping birdnest tonic and opened Tiffany Jade's Instagram. Apology bling, HMPH, photo, her necklace plus my earrings in the frame. Swipe store receipt. The studs were the free gift bundled with her necklace. Gut flip revelation, maybe I never knew Chase at all. Or perhaps this lousy version is who he's always been. Life simply removed the blur filter. They'd only just hooked up, right in the thick of that can't keep their hands off each other phase. The sort of sugar rush stretch where you'd happily wear your lingerie as a belt. So it took no time at all before Chase was away on business again. This time he'd grown a brain. He picked the next city over, Newport. Booked an ultra-luxury ocean view suite. 2 days, 3 nights, another 15 million wired to me. A binge of booze and bedroom acrobatics gave him the heady thrill of walking the razor's edge and, belatedly, a pinch of guilt. He pushed the front door in, suitcase first. I was on the sofa watching Jean Juan slay her way through the imperial harem, 4K projector splashing across the wall. The surround system boomed the drama's most famous line. After I returned to the palace, every single second with you made my stomach turn. The words ricocheted around the living room. I lifted one eyelid. Back already? Against that soundtrack, Chase's gaze flicked away. I stepped off the couch in the new silk pajama set I'd treated myself to. Poor thing, you must be beat. Drop the bag and come eat. He wanted to refuse. He and Tiffany Jade had already stuffed themselves, but when he saw the banquet I'd laid out, the words jammed in his throat. He even rubbed his belly for show. Travel isn't for humans, I'm starving. No one takes care of me like my wife. Watching him wolf down food he could barely keep down, I almost laughed out loud. Open your mouth at 2 tables, huh? Serves you right. When he finally pushed his chair back, he was so full he couldn't stand. All through the meal he'd been sizing me up. Then it clicked. Babe, you're glowing, your skin's insane all of a sudden. Oh, please. Of course it's insane. Full body lactic acid peel plus picosecond laser. If there's a flaw, you zap it. Milky, babysoft, transparent almost. The only downside is the price. But money. I've got a human ATM working graveyard shifts. I swirled my wine. You think so? The more he stared, the brighter his eyes got. Seriously. What? Dinner and dessert in one night? Dream on. I struck first. I slapped the pearl studs he'd given me onto the marble counter. Receipt, Chase. He jumped so hard he let out a burp. Why do you need it, honey? I frowned. I wore them out yesterday. Someone said they look like last season's freebies. He sprang up, chair screeching. Dylan, Whitney again, right? How many times must I say it? She's jealous we're happy and fills your head with poison. We're a team. Only I've got your back, babe. Wow. Lies without notes, blame neatly deflected, bonus gaslighting. How did I miss what a creep he is? My little ambush doused whatever heat he'd been cooking up. I switched channels, all concern. You look awful, pale, washed out. Overwork. Right on cue, the episode cut to a commercial. The same voice thundered, kidney deficiency, always follows excessive strain. Every cheat session drops a 7-figure windfall into my account while shaving a slice off his health bar. After several unchecked binges, Chase really did look like hell, dark rings, bloodless lips. Even he could feel it. My reminder cranked the fatigue up to 11. Any budding lust flatlined. Time for me to shine. I'll cue up the most famous state-certified physician in town and get you some herbal tonic. He knew the one I meant, the master on the state payroll whose clinic tops the national rankings. Appointments were rarer than Birkins. Chase practically teared up. You're an angel. Smack, then sugar works every time. Don't worry, darling, I've only cleared 20 million so far. Trust me, before I hit my target your little factory isn't allowed to break. I softened my voice. Jewelry's not my thing. We should spend where it matters, renovating the new estate is a fortune. He instantly transferred 200 grand. Pick whatever you want, babe, I trust your taste. We. Our house. Keep that jinxed phrase away from me. It's my house. Riverview penthouse in the clouds, paid for by him, decorated to my whim, and he'll still thank me when we're done. While I was speed dialing everyone I knew to score that expert slot, Chase grabbed my hand and crooned, Ellis. Maybe the promise of miracle herbs emboldened him. Before I even picked the prescription up, he sneaked off with Tiffany Jade twice more. He trashed his body. I fattened my wallet. 10 million smells better than any designer perfume. The brew actually worked, his color came back. Skies cleared, rain stopped. Chase thought he was invincible again. Between covert booty calls and pouring at me at home, the man was juggling 2 full-time jobs. With a chassis already leaking oil, he still fancied himself the master balancer. Ugly toad, big dreams. You can't guard against thieves every night, so Jordan suggested I crash at Whitney's for a while. Chase froze, bathrobe half open. You've been dodging my kisses, now you want to move out. Honey, pitiful puppy eyes if the blossoming hickeys weren't billboard evidence. I already had my script. The state certified said you have to practice self-control while on the herbs. Plus, the new estate is mid-renovation. Whitney's place is 10 minutes away, easy to supervise. Our current home and the penthouse sit in opposite districts, over an hour's drive. Use the time to recharge, baby. The family needs its pillar strong. He surrendered at once, swearing he'd drink every bitter drop like a good boy. See, that's why you don't tolerate cheating for a second. No amount of temple oaths or moist-eyed gratitude stops him from plotting his next orgy. Self-restraint. Impossible. I'll wager within 48 hours Tiffany Jade waltzes through my door. Jordan, I tucked a few nanny cams around the apartment before I left. Tiffany Jade loves to post, but her cryptic captions and half-hidden angles aren't admissible. I needed the money shot, luckily the lovebirds didn't disappoint. The night I moved out, Chase brought her home. She toured every room like a queen inspecting her new realm, whining that the drapes were dowdy and the mattress a slab of concrete. Chase pecked at his laptop, tweaking some pitch deck, muttering, "Whatever you want, baby, we'll replace it tomorrow." She draped herself over his shoulders, purring, "Casey, you're such a genius, Tilda." Voice like warm caramel sliding down the spine. So she's the one inflating his ego. No wonder the man now says excuse me when he sneezes, she's turned him into a walking LinkedIn post. Foreplay concluded, they advanced to the main event. Tiffany Jade raided my closet, slipped into one of my nighties, spritzed my perfume, then struck a languid S-curve on the bed. "Casey, do you like?" I blinked at the screen. Straight out of a trashy soap. Chase howled and pounced. Next day the sun was high before she shuffled out, rubbing her lower back. "Casey, why were you so fierce last night? Was it because you were picturing Aurora while you did me?" He hugged her. "Impossible, doll. I'd die for you." She pouted. "I saw those herbal tonics in the fridge. Still so hot for your wife after all these years." He smacked kisses across her cheeks. "Jealous? Every drop went to powering you, didn't it? Brutal truth. Once your brain switches on, romance switches off." I listened without the tiniest tremor, my heart's already moved to a different zip code. Unrelenting, Tiffany Jade pointed at the fridge magnet holding a recipe card. "That Aurora's plan for you? Then cook it for me." They were determined to fold me into their kink. Fine by me. The starred dish was crispy tiger-skin chicken wings, essentially a kitchen grenade. Oil explodes everywhere mid-fry. Chase, spoon-fed prince that he is, marched in like Gordon Ramsay, dropped still-wet wings into screaming hot oil, and boom, volcano. Splatter painted his face and arms with instant freckles of blisters. Tiffany Jade just shrieked like a smoke alarm. Sizzle, scream, sizzle, an orchestra of idiocy. By the time they killed the burner, slammed on a lid, limped back from urgent care, they were starving and bandaged. I timed my video call for that exact frame of pathetic. Chase jerked upright, waving Tiffany Jade into the guest room. She obeyed, sulky but spooked after all, she'd almost sautéed the man she loves. The moment the video connected, Chase's blistered, bubble-covered face filled the screen. I let out a perfectly staged gasp. "Chase, what happened to your face?" He gave a helpless little smile. I saw the recipe you left on the fridge magnet and thought I'd give it a shot. Half-truths are the most convincing lies, and Chase obviously knows the game. Sure, he cooked, but why and for whom? He's hiding that part in a locked vault. I poured concern into my voice. You can't even boil water. If you're craving something, just tell me. I'll come right home and make it for you. One sentence, and his guilt meter spiked into the red. He struts like a king in front of me, then turns into a bootlicking servant in front of his mistress. Chase's voice cracked. Baby, I struck while the iron was hot. I was actually hoping you'd help me pick tiles. I'm leaning toward Marazzi, gorgeous but a bit pricey. Without missing a beat, he transferred $100,000. Expensive is fine, sweetheart. The only thing that matters is that you love it. See, a man's guilt is worth way more than his love. I have to hand it to Tiffany Jade, girls got moves. Casey, I was just jealous of what you two have. Don't be mad at me, okay? I'll go brew the herbal tonic right now. I'd left the steeping time and warnings on the same fridge magnet. Little Miss Lifenoob promptly scalded herself on the clay pot. Chase's heart ached on cue. You blow on my cheek, I'll kiss your hand, and just like that, they were back to sticky sweet. Straight out of a rom-com. After the herbal tonic came the mandatory acrobatics between the sheets, clouds and rain, flipped phoenix, the whole Kama Sutra playlist. Watching another 5 million hit my account at 3 p.m. sharp, I suddenly remembered those idiotic math problems from elementary school. If a pool fills and drains at the same time, how long until it's full? Complete waste of paper. Yet that's exactly the equation Chase is living. Chug tonic, squander essence. Problem is, a body isn't a pool. Every broken vow carves out a piece of his foundation. The tonic only buys him a moment's breath. You make your bed, you rot in it. I shook my head and closed the feed. With tens of millions in my fist, I'm booked solid, renovating, shopping, spa days. Buy whatever catches my eye, price tags be damned. Pure bliss. For convenience, I even ordered a Rolls-Royce. Who can say no to a Starlight headliner? They say a mistress who doesn't want the throne isn't a real mistress. After weeks of honey-soaked bliss, Tiffany Jade started pushing Chase to divorce me. Chase blinked, stunned. At first he just enjoyed the worship from a younger girl, used the senior-junior label for flirty cover, then tasted the high of crossing the line. One tiny boundary blurred, and the slide became irreversible. Sensing his hesitation, Tiffany Jade threw a tantrum. Didn't you say there's nothing left between you two? That sleeping with her feels like touching your own left hand. You're okay living like that forever? Chase exhaled. What I feel for her really is just family and gratitude. Tiffany Jade giggled, arms around his neck. Then what are you waiting for? In love, the one who isn't loved is the real third wheel. I rolled my eyes so hard the ceiling shook. Do mistresses worldwide all graduate from the same script workshop? Still, clichés work. One sentence vaporized his guilt. She's swamped with the new estate decor right now. That stuff drains you. Let her finish, then I'll just write her a check. Tiffany Jade, already living free in a 10 million Riverview penthouse, pouted. Why give her anything? You earn more, and she's been spending your money for years. They dove back into each other's mouths. Great, treat me like the cash cow and the chump. I closed the tab. Time for the next chess move. I've got my eye on this year's Crown penthouse launch, pricey little thing. So, no divorce yet, lovebirds. Keep plowing the field for me a bit longer. Next day I called Chase. I needed to pick up a few things. He sprinted home from the office to tidy up. Still, he missed a couple of souvenirs. A lacy thong in my lingerie drawer that wasn't mine. A cutesy hair clip tucked deep in the vanity. Tiffany Jade obviously planted them. I couldn't be bothered to care. I retrieved my hidden cameras, then timed my arrival to their sushi lunch date based on last night's pillow talk. The server led me in just as the cuddly pair looked up and froze. Today I wore a sculpted designer dress that traced every curve, skin glowing like porcelain, hair styled by the city's top colorist, the cut sharpening my already perfect cheekbones. Radiant, aggressive, drop-dead glamour. Previous me wouldn't even qualify as a sketch. Chase needed a full beat to recognize me. He snapped upright, dropped Tiffany Jade's hand, astonishment flickering in his eyes. Standing, he rubbed his palms like a nervous fly. Baby, what brings you here? Tiffany Jade's stare was pure venom and panic. Last time she saw me, she still believed she was the prettier one. That confidence just disintegrated. I flicked my hair, perfume blooming, and glided over. What a coincidence, lunch here too. Beside me, once smug Tiffany Jade looked dim as a 40-watt bulb. Her eyes bored into me, unable to process the overnight metamorphosis. Chase recovered first. Sweetheart, don't get the wrong idea. I scalded myself cooking last week. TJ helped out, so I'm thanking her. He even pulled out a chair for me. I bestowed a gracious smile on Tiffany Jade. I've been buried in renovations, thanks for lending a hand. She pressed her lips flat. Happy to. Knives shot from her eyes toward Chase. Halfway through, I added fuel. I shifted, crossed my legs, let the red sole dangle, gave Chase a tipsy little smile. He was already devouring me with his gaze. That smile turned the tether into a steel cable. Tiffany Jade's face froze. Suddenly she dropped her chopsticks and bent to hunt for them. I tucked my calf back, cheeks flushed, playing shy. She'd assume we'd just flirted under the table, exactly how she rose to power, so she'd read fireworks into a wink. Imagination always outperforms reality. Tiffany Jade snapped, slamming her chopsticks down. It's late, Casey. Didn't you say the division meeting's at 2? She skewered Chase with a glare. Chase looked lost. I dabbed my mouth politely. I'm stuffed. You two better hurry back to the office. I walked out, leaving them stewing in separate sauces. As expected, Chase phoned that afternoon begging me to come home for a few days. I chirped, so swamped, babe, and brushed him off. After today's jab, Tiffany Jade's insecurity would rocket, and she'd chain herself to him tonight. I also mentioned I'd drop by now and then for stuff, guaranteeing they'd pick a hotel. Enter Pi, paid with Chase's own renovation budget, of course. 8:05 p.m. sharp, photos and 4K clips flooded in, the two of them getting out of the cab, entering the XX hotel, sliding keycards. I gave them 15 minutes, then dialed 911. Officer, I'd like to report prostitution in progress, room 1201, XX hotel. Cops stormed in. Chase and Tiffany Jade were hauled to the precinct. To prove it wasn't solicitation, they vomited every chat log and Venmo transfer on the sergeant's desk. Next morning I parked myself in Shark's office. Goal: squeeze every dime the law allows. First I showed Tiffany Jade's Finsta. Shark shook her head. Weak tea. I slid over a flash drive home security footage. Crystal clear, but illegally obtained. Any judge will toss it, she said. Act 3. Pi's public area shots. Admissible as background, but still can't be entered as core evidence, Shark cautioned. I smiled. They checked into that hotel, then landed in your precinct. The police statement logs every juicy detail of their affair. From the minute I sat down, admiration in Shark's eyes upgraded to or textbook client. That statement, she declared, is gold in court and will anchor my claim. Consultation finished, I floated out. Over the next 3 weeks the math was simple. Every $5 million deposit coincided with Chase pleading for me to come home. A man loves you most when you stop loving him. Each call I stuck to the script, gushing about faucets, groaning about grout, with Chase wiring just a bit more before we hung up. One afternoon Whitney came along and literally gasped, "Why does Chase look half embalmed?" I shrugged. Body hollowed out, zero restraint, bank account burning at both ends, wonderful. Tiffany Jade's Instagram carousel of lovey-dovey shots dried up, replaced by emo teen poetry about wilted roses and dying stars. I knew it, she was about to crack. She asked to meet the same afternoon I'd walked the interior designer through the final layout of the sprawling dressing suite in the new estate. The cafe smelled of bitter, expensive roast. I took a slow, elegant sip. Sounds like you've been burning the candle at both ends, Ms. Lang. You look exhausted. Tiffany Jade glared at my glowing complexion, venom practically dripping from her lashes. Stop the act, Aurora. Don't tell me you haven't found the little souvenirs I left in your house. I set the cup down and lifted a brow. I found them. So, my calm shredded her last nerve, her voice shot up a octave. You think pretending not to care will make it go away? Chase says he never loved you, he loves me. Have some dignity and set him free. She was rattled, totally rattled. I stared at her like she was an idiot. Might as well toy with her. Watching her stomp was entertaining. A homewrecker preaching about love, how precious. You should thank heaven you met a tolerant wife like me. Otherwise I'd park outside your office with a giant banner, grateful to Tiffany Jade for servicing my husband. How would you explain that to your colleagues? Tiffany Jade paled, then flushed. You wouldn't dare. If you did, Chase would never forgive you. Really? I didn't buy it. I shoved my phone between her eyes, the screen glowing with Chase's call log and the mile-long transfer list. This is what you call love. If he truly loved you, you wouldn't need to ambush me here. If Chase and I had started popping out babies, do you think there'd be a crack for you to wiggle into? Plant the anchor. I'd dropped enough hints. If she still didn't get it, that was on her. I stood to leave. Message delivered. I had boutiques waiting to fill my mega walk-in. I wasn't wasting another minute. Behind me Tiffany Jade hissed. Just wait, Chase will be mine. Good luck with that. The pie called before dinner. Tiffany Jade had copied me, hauling bags of herbs out of a Chinatown apothecary for Chase, dosage heavy enough to float a battleship. Teachable little thing. Best part, even the microscopic holes she'd poked in the condoms made it into the report. Money well spent. The following Saturday my phone nearly caught fire. 3 pings, each a cool 5 million, morning, noon, and night. Their bedroom marathon was nuking his health bar and stuffing my account. A month of desperate baby-making later, the stick turned pink for her, and my balance ballooned to almost 300 million. Tiffany Jade paraded the double-lined test like a trophy. I knew it was time for the final act. That night Chase summoned me home. I'm sorry, babe, we need a divorce. May I ask why? You've changed, never around, always rushing off. I lifted a hand. Spare me. You're blaming me for the marriage rotting? That's pathetic. Crimson swept up his neck. I pressed on. If you'd simply said, Tiffany Jade's pregnant and we're in love, I'd at least call you honest. All color drained from his face. How did you know? Men and their delusions, braids everywhere yet they swear the lid's tight. I hit play on the edited home footage, 2 minutes of high-definition sins. He swayed, arguments vaporized. Even if you hadn't asked, I was filing. The Riverview penthouse is mine, and every dollar you squandered on her goes back into marital assets. Most of our savings were locked in that unit, plus the renovation money he'd pumped in. He'd planned to move his newly expectant queen in. Handing it to me would gut him. You've turned vicious, he croaked. I laughed. Me? 7 years of laundry, dinners, every in-law holiday, I've earned a halo. You knocked up your intern, and I'm the villain? Sentiment failed, bare-knuckle math took over. Those recordings can nuke both your reputations, but I won't wallow in the mud with you. As for legality, remember the police statement you two signed at TH? That's airtight. His legs buckled and he collapsed into the chair. The paperwork sailed through. I strolled out with the lion's share. At the clerk's window Tiffany Jade showed up, cradling a belly still perfectly flat. Remember my promise, she cooed. Chase belongs to me in the end. I clicked the Rolls-Royce unlocked and slid inside. If you like scavenging trash, he's all yours, she sniffed. Rental looks cute. Without Chase's quin you'll burn through cash fast, better tighten that belt. I glanced at Chase, he looked embalmed. Quinn? His desk would be cleaned out sooner than he thought. I drove off, top down. Half a month later I strolled into Skyline to buy the Crown penthouse cash, thanks to their baby-making overtime. Tiffany Jade, determined to outdo the ex, dragged Chase along to eye an even pricier unit. She blocked my path. Aurora, haunting us now? Chase mistook it for lingering affection. Aurora, take your meds, I cut in. I'm house hunting. Running into you is bad juju. The agent appeared. Sam, your purchase contract is ready right this way. They gawked. You sold the penthouse? Never. After the effort I put into that decor? Please. You can't afford something here on your own. Watch me. I'm taking the best unit in the development. The agent smiled sweetly. Sam paid in full for the Crown penthouse. And Jamie, Ms. Lang, the discount you asked for? Corporate says no can do. I added cheerfully, Chase, dig deep, empty all 6 family wallets so your queen and heir can live nicely. You've got this. Their faces turned puce. Tiffany Jade whirled on him. You're slipping her money behind my back. How much? Tell me. He stared, bewildered, at me. I grinned. Since you ask, my windfall came straight from Chase kneeling at temple, praying it into existence. She demanded specifics while he stood thunderstruck, unsure whether I'd gone mystical or simply savage. I left them bickering and followed the agent to sign. Tiffany Jade never closed on her dream mansion. Chase collapsed. Specialists in 3 departments consulted, prognosis grim. Even with insurance, the bills would devour their savings. Future stepmom fantasies evaporated. She aborted the day after admission and never visited again. Word was she latched onto an exec, but that man's wife was a barracuda. She stormed the university. Tiffany Jade was expelled. Flyers printed with her bedroom selfies blanketed her parents' block. The family relocated. The wife vowed to mail the evidence to every new boyfriend the moment she hears of one. Chase's numbers were blocked, yet messages filtered through. He begged for one final meeting. Whitney came as backup. He struggled upright when he saw me. Aurora, thank you for coming. I set the fruit basket down. You insisted. What is it? He coughed, choosing words like stepping stones. I was wrong. I swear I've learned. Can we start over? Give me one more chance. Whitney's jaw dropped. She started to unload. I raised a hand and spoke slowly. Chase, only our party runs targeted poverty relief programs. Whitney burst out laughing behind me. Feed pigeons in the London fog. Watch Monet lilies in Paris. That became my commute. Now I lounge beneath a cabana, sea breeze brushing my skin, coconut palms rustling at my back. I lift my champagne to the blazing sunset and toast with friends. From here on, love money, love myself, everything flourishes. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If it hooked you, like and share. Drop your take in the comments, subscribe for more. See you next episode.